Hi guys, welcome back to the home in Homestead. Today we will be making a sweet onion jam. If you watched some of my recent videos, you will have seen that I made a savory onion jam. That was a really robust flavored onion jam with balsamic vinegar and black pepper flavors, while this one will be a more of a sweet twist with really caramelized onions and a combination of vinegars with some cinnamon and other ingredients to make a nice sweet onion jam that you can put over cream cheese or to use as a sweeter style condiment for various sandwiches and snacks. So follow along and see how we make this water bath canning project of sweet onion jam today. So the recipe today calls for about 6 pounds of onions, or about 9 large Vidalia onions, and it should be approximately 6 quarts of sliced onions once they're prepped. You can use a mandolin or a food processor to prepare your onions. You can slice them or dice them. I'm going to be slicing them thinly today, and I'm going to do it by hand because I feel like doing some hand chopping today. I'll be saving all my onion scraps and putting them in my bowl here for now, and then I'll freeze them, and I'll be using them for a future project that I'll do with you guys. There's a lot of nice flavor left in these onion peels and scraps, and I don't want to waste that, so I'll be making a vegetable stock base ingredient bag in the freezer that we can use later. As I mentioned before, these are Vidalia onions. I really like cooking and working with Vidalia onions. They have a nice sweet flavor, and that really is my go-to onion in general. If I'm looking for a spicier type of onion flavor, I'll use a red onion, and there's certain things that just works better for. But by and large, I really like using the sweet onion or Vidalia onion. So let me just prep these onions, and we'll move over to the Dutch oven and start cooking this sweet onion jam. So in the Dutch oven we have 6 quarts of the sliced and prepped onions. To this we will add 3 teaspoons of salt, and this is a canning salt, so we will be water bath canning this. And the salt will just help the onions release their liquid and help them cook down so that they can caramelize. So let me stir this salt back in. I have the Dutch oven set to a medium-high temperature. We'll just let these cook down. This may take a good 45 minutes to an hour to have them cooked down, translucent, and caramelized. So we'll let them do their thing. Okay, so these onions have been cooking for about an hour, and the volume has drastically reduced for them. They have cooked down. They are translucent. A lot of the liquid has cooked off. So now we're ready to add the rest of the ingredients. So to this we will put 1.5 cups of brown sugar. I'll mix this in here. and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Mix that in. One cup of balsamic vinegar, 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. We stir this together, and a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. So now we'll mix this all together and bring this back up to a boil and let it simmer until it thickens a little bit. So let's let all these flavors cook together and boil and thicken, and we'll come back for the next step. Alright, so this sweet onion jam has been cooking for about a 1/2 hour now. Came up to a boil and it's been simmering and it's thickened a bit. So now what we're going to do is get this into the canning jars. And I have 1/2 pint wide mouth canning jars. And I like those for sauces and chutneys and condiments and things such as the sweet onion jam that we made today. It's a nice serving size to take out, and you can use some for a meal, and there may be a little bit left over that'll be in the refrigerator. It's just a nice size. And for this particular recipe, it's a real sweet take on an onion jam, and you can really smell the cinnamon and the sugars just make it a really tasty condiment or appetizer ingredient. I could see it's wonderful any time of year, but certainly as we get into the holiday season, this would be really nice over a baked brie or again over a sandwich as more of a sweet condiment. So I'm filling these jars to a 1/4 inch headspace. If you have a headspace tool, that's the first step up on that little gadget. That tool shows a quarter inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. I'll be making some homemade biscuits later, and I think either this sweet onion jam or even the balsamic onion jam would be really nice slathered on top of the homemade biscuits. So if we have any left over today, we might just have some later today with our dinner. We might have just enough to fill 8 1/2-pint jars. Let's see. What's nice about this canning ladle, it really gets into the corners and gets every little morsel of whatever you're cooking and trying to get into the canning jars out. Alright, there we go. 8 1/2 pints. Let me move this aside here. So now we'll just get these jars ready for their lids and rings. So I just take a wet paper towel and I wipe off the rim and the side threads here. I'll get any of that sticky sauce or glaze, more or less, that this onion jam has off of the jar, and that way it helps us to have a nice tight seal for the lid. So this was a nice slow cooking recipe today. It took an hour to cook down the onions and let them cook off a lot of that moisture that's contained within onions and caramelize a little bit. And then another 1/2 hour of cooking with the different ingredients and flavors and vinegars and everything that gives this sweet onion jam its added flavor profile. So now we'll place the lid, followed by the ring, just finger tight. Got the water bath canner all ready to go. So these will process in the water bath canner for 15 minutes minimum processing time. And based on your altitude, if you live at a higher altitude, you may have to adjust that processing time by increasing it. I'll show you after I have these jars in the water bath canner what I mean by that. And so you know how much you may need to increase your processing time based on where you live. All right, let's head over to the water bath canner. All right, so we're over at the water bath canner. And I like the setup that I have here. I have my canner filled with water. I have a jar tray on the bottom, and I have this set on this separate burner. And that really frees up my cooktop for use throughout the day and for other projects I may be doing. So I'll check the temperature. Looks good. We'll add the jars. I can link in the description box below the canning supplies that I like to use and things that I find helpful in the kitchen when doing recipes and today together. Alright, so we fit all 8 of the jars in there. I'll put the lid on. And like I said, our processing time is 15 minutes. And if you live at a higher altitude or elevation, this is the altitude chart I was referring to, you would just simply increase your processing time by the minutes on the right based on the altitude in feet on the left. And that's just something to be mindful of whenever you're water bath canning or pressure canning. Alright, so we'll let these jars process and we'll come back and check out how they turned out. Alright, so here we have 8 half-pint, wide-mouth jars full of the sweet onion jam. And I can see a baked brie or a pork chop with a dollop of this on top in this sweet onion jam's future. So hopefully you can get into your kitchen and make some flavorful jams and chutneys and toppings that you can both enjoy or share during the holiday season or throughout the year. And these would also make a great gift. In a gift basket, perhaps with a bottle of wine and some nice cheeses, and then a jar of a sweet or savory jam that you have taken the time and made yourself. I think that would be a lovely gift to share with someone that you care about. If you're interested in other videos and recipes of sweet and savory jams, you can check out, I have a video on a balsamic onion jam, as well as a strawberry serrano jam and a raspberry sweet heat jam, all of which would be wonderful on top of sandwiches or on a cheese board, and to add flavors to the items that I mentioned in their respective videos. Well, I hope you're having a wonderful day and that you enjoyed our time we spent together in the kitchen today. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. See you next time. Take care.